Today joined by Blake Gendebien of Lisbon, Democratic candidate for Congress in an election that we thought was going to happen this year, but is not. But you're still a candidate for next year, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you for having me here. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yep.
Yes, we have a tremendous amount of support, and we're not going anywhere. We're just going to keep working.
Yep. Now, full disclosure, I'm from Lisbon too. You're a Lisbon guy. I'm going to try not to let that color my perspective here.
Yes.
I'm just kidding, really. Yeah. But I did know your father from when he was on the school board there years ago, quite a few years ago.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, and we're both farm boys from Lisbon too.
Yeah, we are.
Yep. So what happened with the election not happening, did it take you by surprise?
It did. It did. We were working very, very hard. We were delivering a message. We were out rubbing elbows with everyone in the whole district. We had traveled to almost every county already. We were having tremendous momentum, support, and I guess it just goes to show that when you talk to people and you listen to people, you have success.
Mm-hmm. Well, with the announcement having taken place, what do you make of it? Do you think they were worried about losing the election, the Republicans?
Well, since day one, since we started this race, we've been focused on the North Country and the needs of the North Country. And I'm born and raised in the North Country. These are my friends, my neighbors. This is my community. The entire district, I'm very familiar with it. And I think that was resonating. It doesn't matter to me what side of the aisle you're on. I genuinely want your life to be better. I'm not a divisive figure. I am for the North Country, and I want to bring advantages to the North Country. I want to make sure that we can all not just get by, but be successful and thrive, and that message got through.
Mm-hmm. But given the fact the two Florida races were narrowing, obviously, and do you think the GOP sensed the same thing could be at play in this district for this election that was going to happen?
They may have gotten that sense. It's certainly a possibility. But again, I'm here to focus on our needs. I'm here to make life more affordable. I know what it's like to farm in a broken immigration system on the border. We need to fix that. It's been years that's been an issue and nothing's been done. And I know what it's like my Uncle Rodney had a stroke in June. I know what it's like to drive him from Lisbon all the way to Syracuse, 2.5 hours for a routine doctor's appointment. We can do better. And it's messages like these that remind people in the North Country that no one's been paying attention to them for years. And I've been getting a tremendous amount of positive feedback. Hey, Blake, we need to deliver these messages, and thank you for listening. Thank you for having a plan. And that's definitely generating support and enthusiasm for our campaign.
All right. Well, you mentioned the immigration problem that we have. You're a farmer. You face that, I know. Is it a challenge verifying how legal some of your workers are?
So what we focus on are following the rule of law. We fill out all the paperwork just like any other business. And we know that immigrant labor is very important to the ag industry. According to a Texas A&M study, nearly 50% of dairy labor, on-farm labor, is immigrant labor. 79% of the dairy products that you touch and feel at the grocery store has been handled by immigrant labor. And if we lose that immigrant labor in our ag system, just dairy prices go up 93%, according to a Texas A&M study. So we need to make sure that America's farmers have access to a secure legal labor workforce. And we've been talking about an Ag Workforce Modernization Act that makes it so that dairy, specifically, and other livestock industries can have access to a labor force for more than 6 months for a multiple year system, because dairy, for example, is every single day all year long. It's just time that we sent a farmer to Congress to work on these issues. And once we solve immigration, we will drive prices down for consumers. We'll drive grocery prices down. We'll make sure that things are not just food, but hospitality, and forestry and construction. We'll make sure that life is more affordable in the North Country.
So when you bring one of these workers on, you have them fill out the proper paperwork. But do you have any way of knowing that it's what they put down is true?
So for years, we have hired, since 1972, we've hired hundreds of workers. We treat them all the same. We fill out all of the paperwork like you would fill out hiring.
Is there any sense sometimes you like hold your breath and say, well, here it is, I hope it's true?
Right. I don't treat anyone like that.
Okay, well, what's your take on the very highly publicized event in Sackett's Harbor just recently?
Right.
Got any thoughts on it?
So they're friends of mine, right? The dairy industry is small.
The farm.
The farm. Yep, the dairy industry is small. We also had a farm a couple of miles from my farm on the same day. And I agree. The Border Patrol agents went in looking for someone who had committed a crime on both farms. If that's the case, that person should go. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. The issue is in Sackett's at North Harbor Dairy, 3 children were handcuffed and shoved into the back of a van.
You know that they were handcuffed?
I do know that they were handcuffed. Yep. And it was hard for the people that were there on the farm to get that image out of their minds. We can do better. This is the United States of America. We have the rule of law. We need to treat children with respect. It's a humanitarian issue. I know that the whole community is very upset. The teachers at the school who have been working with these children for years are very sad about the situation, and we need to get those children back home to their parents.
So you spoke of another farm, did you say the same day as North Harbor?
Yes.
That was near you? And
Yes.
were there any others that you know of?
In Lisbon, it was the same situation. So there was someone who had committed a crime, and that person should go home. Yep.
Okay. Mr. Holman had kind of warned there could be these collateral arrests or apprehensions when they go after someone like that. Is it a case of being forewarned, or is there any way to prepare for such a thing if you're a farmer?
If you're a farmer, I think, and someone knows that there is someone who has committed a crime on your farm, there's not a farmer in the United States that won't cooperate. Let's communicate with the farmer and let's take care of the situation. But to my point, Carmen and I have been farming in Lisbon now for 20 years. Of course, I grew up there, and I've been in Lisbon for almost my entire life. Immigration reform is broken. It is totally broken. We need a farmer in the room to make sure that we have a secure workforce for agriculture. But it doesn't just stop at agriculture. It should continue on to hospitality. It should continue on to healthcare. The system is broken, and we can do better. It is not a divisive issue. It shouldn't be a divisive issue. It should be an issue that we all come together on as Americans and fix it and work together and watch our agricultural industry improve and watch us drive down costs at the dinner table for everyday Americans.
So what do we need? Some kind of a new visa program, or what is the solution?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been many discussions about what we can do. You've probably heard of the H-2A, which is used to pick fruit or vegetables or things like that. There needs to be a program similar to that the farms could possibly sponsor, and then the people could stay here for 3 years, and then have the potential to extend that work visa for even more. So there's options out there, and we have options. As an ag industry, we've been talking about these things for years.
Well, what do you think the holdup is? We've been through Republican and Democrat administrations, and it doesn't seem to happen.
I think we need leadership, and we need courageous leadership. And I want to be part of that leadership that makes it a priority to come together instead of using immigration reform as a divisive issue. I am here to work together, to work within the margins. When you're driving down the road, you stay in your lane. When you get off, when a tire gets off on the side of the road into the shoulder, you veer off and you lose control. And I feel like we've done that in politics. We veer off to the right and lose control. We veer off to the left and lose control. But when we stay on the road, we get to where we want to go. We get things done. And that's what I want to do. I want to work really hard. I truly believe that on both sides of the aisle, we agree on 90 to 95% of things. We just need to focus on those. And that's what I'm here to do. And by doing that, I will help people in the North Country. I'll help us improve our lives.
Mm-hmm. You were named the Democratic candidate for the election that did not happen. How did that come about? Did you go to them or they come to you? Or some combination thereof? The county chairs made the selection, right?
Yeah, the county chairs were the only audience.
Yep.
So Carmen and I have been talking about this for years. Carmen is my best friend. She's my partner. We do just about everything together. And so this opportunity came up, and we looked at one another in the eye and said, hey, this might be the time. So we have one son left at home. Our oldest son, Miles, is at Tufts, Truman's a freshman at Pitt, and Noah's a senior in high school. And our goal has always been to get them through high school. I'm a family man. Carmen and I are parents first, and we wanted to make sure that we were there for all the soccer games, all the basketball games, all the activities. So we talked to Noah. Noah's like, yeah, Dad, go for it. Go for it. So then I have had, as a leader in the dairy industry, I have some contacts in the dairy industry on the national level that gave me some great advice. And they said, Blake, the chairs are your audience. And so I started working with the chairs, developed a great team, highly talented team. We started fundraising and we had some modest success. And then the fundraising success started to snowball when people got the message of what I was trying to do. I'm trying to build a bigger tent. I want to work together with both sides of the aisle, and I want to make things happen that make our lives better. In Lisbon, in Waddington, in Glens Falls, in Rome, everywhere in this district. So that message resonated with the chairs, and they gave us the nod, which I am so grateful for, because as soon as that happened, we just started to really take off and gain a lot of enthusiasm behind us.
Mm-hmm. And those contributions swell to over $3 million.
That's correct.
Where has most of that money come from?
We've had a tremendous amount of money from inside the district, and we've also had money donated from all 50 states.
Mm-hmm. What's the biggest donation, do you know?
I do not know the biggest donation.
Have you got any real big ones? Tens of thousands?
No.
50? No.
The average donation is $38.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the election, the regularly scheduled election that comes up next year, you are a candidate for that. Are you officially the Democratic candidate for that, or do you have to vie again for it?
Okay, so I work hard every day. I prove myself every day. That's what I'm going to continue to do. I believe there's a primary process early in 2026, right? Mm-hmm. So if there is not a special election this year, I will work very, very hard to earn the support of the North Country in a primary process early next year. And we have a great story to tell. We have a terrific story to tell. We've had so much success, and we have good fundraising momentum behind us, and that's just going to keep going. We're not done. We don't plan on stopping. So we're going to do 5 or 6 town halls this month throughout the district. Mm-hmm. And we're going to listen to people. We're going to talk to people. What I can't wait to do, like I said before, is rub elbows with everybody in the district. And I genuinely care about the people here in the North Country. I want to know how I can help, but I also want to learn. So we're going to do a lot of listening.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you had to guess, if you are the candidate again next year, who do you think you will face? Do you think it will be Elise Stefanik or someone else?
I have no idea. And I really don't have any idea.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change what I do at all. I'm just going to keep plowing the field. Just keep working and focus on my issues. My issues, again, making life more affordable for people, for my friends and neighbors that raised me. Making sure that we fix immigration. It has been broken for too long. I want to tell you, I agree. I agree that our Border Patrol agents, our ICE agents, they need more resources. And They need to be able to talk to local and state law enforcement. That's common sense, right? And these people are my friends. My daughter went to prom, or sorry, my son went to prom with an ICE agent's daughter. Like, I'm in the community. These people are not, when you live in it, you view it completely differently, and you have an understanding of both sides. That's what life is like in Lisbon. That's what life is like in Messina. We just don't ask each other what your party affiliation is every single time that we interact. We just want to get the work done.
Are you in favor of the sharply reduced numbers of illegal crossings since President Trump took office?
Yes. And what I promise to do for everyone in this district is to tell the truth and the whole truth, right? We've been driving down crossings for the last couple of years, and I'm proud that it's continuing to go down. So as a national effort for the last few years, we have been driving down crossings, and I'm very happy for that.
When it was announced that you were the candidate, it almost seemed like the Republicans had some ammunition locked and loaded and ready to go. And they brought out some comments that you made on some kind of a online or broadcast forum that was going into the archives from, what was it, 12 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, 13, almost 30, yep.
Yeah, you made comments about the North Country workforce and corrections officers that they trotted out. In retrospect, those comments, were those the comments of maybe a younger, slightly less mature Blake Gendebien, or what are your thoughts about it?
Right. So I'm so glad that you are asking this. That was I'm not a politician, right? That was a plain spoken interview from almost 13 years ago. That was done by Tawny, Traditional Arts in upstate New York. That was meant to talk about life as a struggling small dairy farmer. And there were 4 or 5 different farmers in the North Country that did that interview, and I encourage everyone to listen to all of them. Mine is about an hour and 20 minutes. And so I would never paint a broad brush across anyone in the North Country in a negative light. Those were unique experiences, one-offs that I had, and I am tired of the fake outrage, taking just a few points, small points, out of character from an hour and a half interview. And I would never say that in the same sentence that I'm bragging about the CEOs and all the value. These guys are my friends. I went to high school with them, right? The value that they brought to my farm, putting siding on the barn, a roof on my house, taking the plaster and lath out of the walls and putting up sheetrock. These CEOs did this with me, and my point was to brag about how much value they provide outside of their jobs.
Well, speaking of your farm, it is very picturesque. It's just so immaculately kept. Is that a point of pride for you and your family?
It sure is. It sure is. So Carmen and I farm next to my dad, and he's pretty fussy, as you know. He's had a nice farm for a long time. So he comes by and he makes sure that no blade of grass is out of place. But it takes work. It takes work to keep a farm nice and clean, and that's just what we do. That's what, it's a priority, and this is a little funny, but I have 3 boys and myself. We all love mowing the lawn. And so we used to fight over lawnmowers, and now we have a small lawnmower for everybody. And it takes 4 hours and 4 lawnmowers to get all the grass mowed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you were gearing up for an election that did not happen. 2026 is a ways off. Are we going to be seeing much of you between now and the time when the 2026 cycle really cranks up?
Yeah, I might have a little more time to get the crops planted this spring, which I love doing. It's like a stress relief for me. So I'm happy about that, but we're going to continue to do events, continue to be out there. We're not stopping. You're going to continue to see me. Hopefully you invite me here again, and we are going to represent the needs of the people of the North Country, and I'm very happy to do that.
All right. Well, we will be seeing you again, without a doubt. So, but for now, any closing thoughts you want to leave us and the viewer with?
No, just thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. It's a real pleasure.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.